Imagine waking up at 3 a.m., staring into the darkness while your mind jumps from one financial worry to another. Maybe the car suddenly breaks down tomorrow. Maybe your laptop stops working. What if an unexpected medical bill shows up, or your job situation changes overnight? For millions of people, these thoughts aren't rare, they're routine. Living paycheck to paycheck means every small problem can feel like a financial disaster waiting to happen. Most people assume that financial stability only comes when someone becomes rich or earns a six-figure salary. But what if the biggest psychological shift actually happens much earlier? Surprisingly, there is a specific savings milestone that begins to change how you think, how you decide, and even how you sleep at night. And the interesting part is this: that number isn't $1 million, it's just $10,000. But why does this seemingly small number have such a powerful effect on your life?
And the answer might completely change how you think about money. Think about what life feels like when you have little or no savings. Every purchase becomes a calculation. At the grocery store, you compare prices carefully, wondering if the cheaper option will stretch your budget a little further. When friends suggest going out to eat, you may quietly invent an excuse because spending $20 or $30 feels risky. This constant calculation drains your mental energy. You are always defending your finances instead of planning your future. One unexpected expense, like a car repair or a medical bill, can throw your entire month into chaos. But something interesting begins to happen when a person builds their first meaningful savings cushion. The moment your bank balance reaches 5 digits, the entire relationship you have with money starts shifting. Suddenly, life doesn't feel like a tightrope anymore. But the real transformation isn't about spending money. It's about how your brain reacts when you know the money is there. When someone has zero savings, every decision feels dangerous. Changing jobs, moving cities, or even taking a short vacation becomes stressful because one mistake could leave you financially stuck. Without a safety net, people often stay in situations they dislike simply because they cannot afford the risk. However, having $10,000 sitting in your account quietly changes that dynamic. You don't suddenly become reckless or quit your job overnight, but you do start feeling a small sense of freedom. You might finally ask for that promotion you've been thinking about. You might enroll in a course that improves your skills. You might explore a side project that could increase your income. That cushion doesn't make you careless. It simply allows you to think beyond survival. And that shift from survival mode to opportunity thinking is where things start getting really interesting. There is also a biological effect most people never talk about. Financial security directly affects your stress levels. When people constantly worry about money, the body releases higher levels of cortisol, the hormone responsible for stress. But once you build even a modest financial buffer, that stress begins to decrease. The difference may seem small, but it changes your daily experience. Imagine seeing the check engine light appear on your dashboard. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, panic hits immediately. You start thinking about credit cards, loans, or borrowing money from someone. But if you have $10,000 saved, that same warning light feels different. It's still annoying, but it's no longer terrifying. This shift from panic to inconvenience might sound minor, but it creates ripple effects throughout your entire life. And those ripple effects influence decisions you don't even realize you're making. The biggest advantage of having $10,000 isn't actually spending it. In fact, many people rarely touch their emergency savings at all. The real power comes from simply knowing that it exists. This concept is often called the emergency fund effect. The money acts like a protective shield between you and life's surprises. When unexpected problems appear, you already know you have the ability to handle them. Interestingly, many people end up using this money not for emergencies, but for opportunities. They invest in education, start small businesses, relocate for better careers, or develop new skills. Instead of constantly reacting to financial problems, they begin creating financial progress. And there's another powerful shift that quietly happens once people reach this milestone. When you know you have money saved, you carry yourself differently. It becomes easier to negotiate salaries, reject unfair offers, or walk away from bad financial decisions. Desperation disappears, and confidence takes its place. This subtle psychological change often leads to better outcomes. People with financial breathing room tend to perform better in interviews, negotiate stronger contracts, and pursue higher-paying opportunities. Ironically, the money itself doesn't create success. The confidence that comes with security does. But reaching $10,000 might feel impossible for someone currently struggling to save even small amounts. So how do people actually reach that first major milestone? The answer isn't what most financial advice tells you. Many people treat saving money like a short-term diet. They cut expenses aggressively for a few months, save quickly, and then eventually return to their old spending habits. But successful savers approach the process differently. Instead of temporary sacrifice, they build a new identity. They begin seeing themselves as someone who saves money regularly. That identity change alters every financial decision they make. They naturally look for ways to reduce unnecessary spending. They become more creative in finding extra income streams. They start thinking long-term instead of chasing immediate gratification. At first, saving is difficult. The first $1,000 feels like climbing a steep hill. But after that, something surprising happens. Saving becomes easier. And this momentum plays a major role in reaching the next milestone. Another reason $10,000 is such an important number comes down to simple math. Most unexpected financial problems fall within this range. Car repairs, medical visits, temporary job loss, or urgent family expenses usually cost far less than $10,000. That means, once you reach this level of savings, you become protected from many of the situations that trap people in debt cycles. Suddenly, financial setbacks no longer push you backward for years. But something even more important happens when people reach this level of security. They stop thinking about money only as something that disappears every month. Instead, they begin seeing it as a tool that creates new possibilities. And once that perspective changes, an entirely new financial mindset begins forming. When people finally have savings, their thinking expands. Instead of worrying about basic bills every day, they begin exploring concepts like investing, side businesses, or passive income. Not because they suddenly became financial experts, but because they now have the mental space to think about growth. A person with $10,000 saved is often closer to financial independence than someone who earns more money but saves nothing. Why? Because the most valuable wealth-building skill isn't earning money, it's keeping money. Many high-income individuals still struggle financially because their spending grows with their income. Meanwhile, someone with moderate earnings but strong saving habits steadily builds financial stability. And this is where the real transformation begins to unfold. Saving your first $10,000 does not make you rich. It doesn't mean you can stop working or live a luxury lifestyle, but it gives you something far more valuable: breathing room. When you're no longer gasping for financial air, you can start making smarter decisions. You sleep better, stress less, and approach opportunities with confidence instead of fear. Small financial optimizations suddenly become easier to notice. Better career opportunities become easier to pursue. And over time, those improvements compound into something much bigger. Because the real transformation isn't the money in your bank account. It's the person you become while building it. And once that mindset takes hold, the next financial milestone becomes much closer than you think. But the question is, what happens after the first $10,000?